Good to have you with us. Rolling blackouts are already affecting water supply and communications. We've spoken about that this morning already, and now it could very well impact our grocery cupboard. Agri SA is warning that these power cuts are going to start causing issues for food security, especially if we stay in stage 5. Currently, we understand it could go down to stage 4. Also, Cabinet is going to meet to discuss the crisis. We wait to see what comes out of that. But first of all, let's worry about our food in South Africa. Agri SA Executive Director Christo van Der Rheede joining us. Hello, Christo. Good to have you back on eNCA. How worried are you? Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to all of your listeners. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, we are indeed very worried. It's causing great havoc on many of our farms. Let's start with irrigation. Farmers constantly have to replan irrigation schedules. Workers have to work sometimes late at night to get things irrigated. And then you've got all kinds of other problems in terms of the fact that you need to manage your time, you need to manage your time slots. When you irrigate, you lose also your time slot at the same time. And then throughout the value chain, there's serious challenges, especially in terms of cold storage facilities that are not functioning well. And then on top of it, you need to replace sometimes compressors because due to power surges, etc. So yes, it's a chaotic situation.
And I imagine as well, this may be kicking the tin a bit far down the road, Christo, but tell me if I'm on the right track here. It's also going to be an issue when it comes to the exporting of our agriculture as well, because if we don't have power at these cold storage facilities, wherever that might be en route overseas, we could end up not having our exports going out, which we get paid a lot of money for.
Indeed, and I think we need to distinguish between local markets and global markets. Let's start with local markets. Remember, Joburg market, Pretoria market, they've got very big ripening facilities, cold storage facilities. If farmers take their bananas, their avocados, and other products to those markets, which are highly perishable, if there's no cold storage facilities, those products get ripe overnight, and then you might as well throw it away, because it takes a few days for that product to land on the shelf of customers. And what does the customer want? They want a fresh vegetable or fruit that can last a couple of days before they eat it. So that's the first challenge that we have. And then secondly, many of our products that are exported, especially citrus and a few other products, need to be kept in cold storage facilities throughout the value chain until it gets to the harbor, and then from the harbor it gets onto the boat. And if your overseas customers get a bad product from South Africa, it has enormous repercussions for the industry.
It certainly does. Let's just talk about repercussions for a moment as well, Christo, for local consumers. Whenever we talk about food security, the next part of that conversation becomes the cost of food. Where are we on that?
Yeah, we are quite worried. Remember, food inflation remains on the rise throughout the world. We have also seen the Central Bank of America wants to push up the interest rate, and that will also have an impact on our interest rate in South Africa. So that makes the cost of loans, the cost of doing business, the cost of purchases, it increases that cost, which eventually has an impact on our consumers. Remember, poverty is at an all-time high, unemployment is at an all-time high, so you sit with a toxic mix of factors that can drive the country very easily over the brink. But this is where the agriculture sector really needs to be patted on the shoulder, because our farmers are highly resilient. They have adapted to the current circumstances. They purchased their own solar systems and alternative electricity systems or generation systems, and they continue to produce food. And yes, our wish is to produce food, the best quality food, the most affordable food, and put that on our customers' table, because you don't produce food to be thrown away. You produce food to be enjoyed by the broader public out there. So I think we need to be very grateful for our agriculture sector that they still remain up to the task. But I think the big challenge now is, how do we solve the issues at Eskom?
Well, you almost asked my last question for me as I start saying goodbye to you, Christo. A cabinet meeting later today after this particular interview. The president phones you, Christo from Agri SA, and says, okay, I saw you talking on eNCA, Christo, tell me what to do. Yes. I'm the president, how do I fix this? You've got 30 seconds. What do you tell the president?
Mr. President, you have promised us a lot of interventions earlier this year. Make sure those interventions are implemented. Get rid of ministers that are standing in your way to have those things implemented. And get the private sector on board to help solve this crisis. The idea that the private sector is going to push up prices, it's not true. Look at the agriculture sector, which is in private hands. What do? We provide the best food at the best quality price. And that is the real benefit that the private sector can bring to the table. But get rid of incompetent people throughout government systems, because they're the biggest drawback for our efforts to change the economy and to provide a better life for all.
Oh, there we go, Mr. President. If you're looking for part of the interview to play in your cabinet meeting later, there you have it from Christo van Der Rheede joining us. Van Der Rheede, I beg your pardon, Christo van Der Rheede, Agri SA Executive Director. Christo, always appreciate your time in speaking to us. So it's